Well, that was a long game, and Georgia wins it 44-41. I've come around here for a long time. That was one of the nuttier games, one of the better games. Georgia's been a part of at least 3 classics in like their last 5 games or 4 games. Alabama, Clemson, and then this one. They lost 2 of those. They won this one tonight, and this one's very important. Very important. Keeps them in the. It does a lot for their SEC East championship hopes. Basically, now this is a one-game situation with the Gators. Everybody else can talk about day-to-day or game-to-game. That's fine, whatever. It's a Georgia-Florida thing now. South Carolina's got a long way to go. They needed Georgia to lose 2 games. I don't know if that's going to happen. I hear the chapel bell. I think the chapel bell is going to ring a lot tonight for this fan base. And really, I think sometimes Sanford Stadium is a little underappreciated in terms of the crowd, but oh my God, if it were like this every single week, it would be tough for people to really have any criticism of these fans. The students did. It's not even close to what it was like when I was here as a student. It's so much better. The kids care. I think they care a lot more, and they're into it. So kudos to the students. Zach Mettenberger, that was just really impressive, just period. He was making some throws. Georgia played some pretty decent quarterbacks. He's probably the best one they played. He's better than A.J. McCarron. He's better than Taj Boyd. I'm trying to think of other guys they played. I mean, Zach's probably a late first-round draft pick. If he plays like that, yeah, that's what's going to happen at the worst for him. And, LSU couldn't run the ball. I mean, I can't remember the last time LSU could not run the ball. They ran it halfway effectively in the second half, about 50 yards in the second half, which is okay. But Georgia just shut them down in the first half, 15 yards for LSU. That's just not LSU. Now, Jeremy Hill still wound up with about 86 yards. So that wasn't bad. And Keith Marshall with 96 yards total. Had a good day. Todd Gurley with 73 yards on 8 carries. He didn't even play for 2 and a little bit of quarters of this game. I mean, maybe this game isn't even close. Maybe this is not as competitive a game. And then Chris Conlon with 5 catches. Justin Scott Wesley with the game winner. Michael Bennett with 2 touchdowns. Can the national media, I know I pick on the media a lot. Can we just say Aaron Murray is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the country, or maybe top 8? I saw one list today where the backup at Ohio State was listed above Aaron Murray. What is wrong with these people? I mean, are we that stupid that we can't see what's in front of our own eyes? 4 touchdowns and an interception today. I can't remember what his numbers were against South Carolina. It was something very similar, except there was no interception, and this is against top 10 teams. Get over the sort of Aaron Murray can't do it thing. It's so played out. It's just wrong. Actually, that's the dumb part, is that, if the kid were not getting the job done, and you could say that in the past, then you say that. But now, I just don't know if you can really say that anymore. I mean, if it's about big games, he's won 2 in a row. If it's about versus ranked teams, most of his losses came in 2010, okay, and the first 2 games of 2011. So, listen, let's give Aaron Murray some credit, for God's sakes. It's gotten old, and it really is it's just played out, and the numbers don't validate the opinion. You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts, and Aaron has just played unbelievable, and I just... he played great against Clemson too, but whenever Georgia loses, there's got to be a scapegoat. It's no longer Mike Bobo, because his offense. You know what, Mike Bobo? Actually, I take that back. Aaron Murray did not have 300 yards. He only had 298, and Georgia only had 494 yards, and they only had 44 points. On the defensive side of things, can you make criticism about the pass defense? Yeah, you could. LSU winds up about 450 yards. That's a lot. I think the difference is, A, Georgia won the game. B, I think everybody sees where this defense is going to be, and it's gotten progressively better, frankly. over time. I mean, the run was an issue against Clemson. Nobody's going to be talking about Georgia's run game after these last two performances. One against a directional school, but the other one against LSU. That's some serious national jack on that deal. Look, LSU's good. These two teams, I don't know if they're probably going to play again. By the way, let me just mention, Josh Harvey-Clemens looked great tonight, and Leonard Floyd is a freakazoid, is all there is to it. Those two guys, and that's the thing with this Georgia defense, is it's primarily, about half of it is guys who have really just never played. A lot of them are freshmen, so they're going to be around for this year and two more at least. And some of them are sophomores. So, I expect this defense to be saltier as time goes on. It's just going to take them a little bit of time. Big picture, I'm kind of a 40,000-foot guy. By the way, too, going forward on that fourth down for Georgia, Mark Richt, that was a very smart decision. That had to happen, and there had to be points in that at that time, and they needed to get it. I think that was where the field goal was, but that had to happen, and that was a smart play. Big picture. Nothing really changes, actually. LSU, nothing. They're not going to get penalized for this loss. They'll still be in the top 10. If they're not, there's something wrong. These two teams can play again. It's possible. Georgia was the one who, if we're going to talk about a national championship, then they had to win this game. And they did. And frankly, there was very little time where I thought in this game that Georgia was going to lose the game. Now, there was a moment there when they were down late where you're sitting there going, I don't know. But they just can't get stopped. I mean, that's the problem. These guys have, I don't know what their average is, but it's got to be over 35 because they haven't scored less than that. And it's probably about 40 points a game. That's crazy. So what needs to happen is this. You go and you take the Vols very seriously. This is not Philip Fulmer's Tennessee. But you take it seriously and you try to win the game by a touchdown or 10 points. And you just get out of Knoxville. Okay, they've got some tackles who can, slow down Georgia's pass rush. Maybe the Vols can get it going. Georgia turns the ball over. I don't know. It's tough for me to see Georgia losing that game. But you got to take it seriously. Then you come back for Missouri, which is probably going to be a trap game. It will be a lethargic crowd. It may be a noon game, or it may be kind of one of these games where, what is Missouri? And then you got Vandy, which will probably be the trickier one of those tricky meetings. Georgia needs Todd Gurley to get healthy. They need to take the Vols seriously. They're backed into a corner. They don't look great. You can't lose at Tennessee. That changes the whole dynamic of the season. And then, look, it does come down to it's a matchup with the Gators. Georgia shouldn't lose probably the rest of the season. If they do, something odd has happened. They need to keep a clean sheet and get to the SEC championship game against either LSU, Texas A&M, or Alabama. They can win that game. But they had to win this game tonight, and they did. To recap, huge win for Georgia, no question about that. Zach Mettenberger looked unbelievable. I think Georgia should be pleased that if they don't have to play LSU again. And, from this point forward, it looks like a Georgia-Florida matchup with Georgia. They're going to have to beat the Gators for the third time in a row if they want to get to Atlanta. Okay, Georgia wins 44-41, and they will probably creep up a little bit higher in the rankings on Monday.